Yes, Utkarsh.
Hello, hello, namaste.
Hello, namaste, Utkarsh.
Just a quick question before I ask you my doubt. So, is
Yes,
it okay if I keep my video off?
yes, no problem.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, I've written down my question because I was not able to decide whether I will be able to articulate it or not.
Okay.
So, basically, 2 years ago, I was reading a text about Osho's lecture about Gautam Buddha, and there was an instance when Gautam Buddha said to his brother Ananda,
Mm-hmm.
"Yes, everything is mind." Right? There was a sudden blast inside me at that moment. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this was a time when I was practicing 100 different types of meditation
Mm-hmm.
for at least around 3 years. And this happened like 2 years back. So before, for almost 3 years, I was practicing 100 different types of meditation, but this experience was literally extraordinary. And I
Wait,
started laughing
Utkarsh,
like,
hold on. What did you say? What did Buddha say to Ananda?
so basically, Ananda was asking Gautam Buddha, I'm meditating so much, but nothing is happening. So Gautam Buddha explained to Ananda, leave everything, everything is mind.
Okay,
So,
okay,
right. So
okay.
Ananda asks him, even enlightenment is mind. So Gautam Buddha says, yes, everything is mind. And that is when the blast happened inside me. But after that day, I haven't seen any improvement in my spiritual journey. And I'm saying this because I've read these quotes from Ramana Maharishi, where he said that the more silent you get with time, the more spiritually developed you get.
Mm-hmm.
And even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that when a man perfects his meditation, his mind becomes like a flame. But that is simply not the case with me. I mean, uh, I can now observe my thoughts. There is a difference between my mind and what is me. I can realize it, but there is no peace per se.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Eckhart Tolle's lecture, Eckhart Tolle's, if I'm pronouncing his name right, his lectures, he clearly mentions that enlightenment is about having such control on your mind that you can literally stop it at any given moment as you desire. But that is not happening with me. And if I meditate for like an hour or so continuously, which rarely get the time to do,
Mm-hmm.
then I get some peace. But otherwise, my mind is literally daydreaming 24 by 7, and I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm literally confused what is happening with me. Do I have to continue my practice? Because according to Bhagavad Gita, I haven't perfected my meditation, but I personally do not feel the need to practice. Right? Am I able to express myself clearly? Even I don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I'm able to convey myself or not. I request you to please clear my confusion.
All right. I will try my level best. Although, to be honest, it's not in my control, but I will try my level best to clear your confusion. So, you see, Utkarsh, this whole idea that I have to do meditation or certain practices to achieve a state, that itself keeps the practitioner, the separation between the practitioner and the practice alive. Now, what happens in meditation is that when you sit and meditate, at some point the practitioner drops, and what remains is pure meditation. So you feel the bliss, but then you get up, you start life, and again you find yourself with thoughts, and then there is no peace. Sometimes we have to look deep into our life as to what is going on in totality in our life. Everything needs to be seen: work, relationships, ideas, beliefs. When we observe everything in totality, a different picture will emerge. The one pointed focus will still retain the point. That is my whole idea. When the point dissolves, it is then that the peace of being will be experienced. And the reason why this is so mind is so turbulent is because what happens in our daily living is we practice for a couple of moments, let's say meditation or any practice, japa kriya, can be anything. Then we immediately go and start our work and we think that the job is done. But this message says that meditation becomes a 24-hour practice, as in the watchfulness happens 24 hours in each and every interaction. What that means is, let's say when you go to your workplace, you meet people, you interact with people. At that point, your interactions with people, your state of mind, what thoughts, what emotions are being produced, all of those, when you see them in totality, then you will get a bigger picture as to what is truly going on. And at some point, again, the mind comes to this conclusion that whatever is happening is way too much for the limited me to fix. So there comes a natural dispassion. So, you know, sometimes I need to examine what are my aspirations in life, what are my goals in life. Are they binding me or are they freeing me? My goals, my aspirations towards myself, my work, my family, my parents, my life, are they binding me or are they freeing me? This examination needs to be done. That means practice, the formal practice of meditation, which is a beautiful practice and it does bring a lot of peace. But that is not true meditation. True meditation is when I contemplate each and every moment, which means I'm aware of my state even when I'm interacting with other people. Then it gives me a better idea as to what is going on. And the change happens through simply through witnessing, not through trying to change. Because you see, trying to control the mind is the idea of the mind. Mind lives in this fantasy that if I put effort and quiet myself, I will be happy or I will attain some enlightenment. But it's like Ramana Maharishi would say, it's like employing a thief to protect your valuables. It will deceive you. So I would just say that in addition to your practices, what in fact you can, if you want, you can reduce your the length of your practice because even few minutes is sufficient in a day. But let the flow of life itself be a meditation for you. And it will come about through interaction with others. Does that make any sense?
Um, to be honest, some points do, but I do not resonate with some points.
Don't worry, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
No,
This is
you know,
something this is something you have to try for yourself and see,
right, right.
you know?
Um, but when I said like I practiced meditation, to be honest, 2 years back when that incident happened, after that day, I haven't taken up any formal practices as such.
Hmm.
Like, for example, I was doing meditation from Vigyan Bhairav Tantra and from Sadhguru's Kriya, all everything. I tried literally everything. But from that day onwards, I haven't taken up any formal practices as such.
Hmm.
I just sit and observe my thoughts. So what you talked about witnessing, I literally just witness my thoughts and whatever feelings arise, and I can witness them 24 by 7.
Hmm.
But the turbulence is such that I'm confused whether it is normal after that incident, or am I still missing the point? Is the turbulence in my head that is it normal after the, whatever the glimpse, the enlightenment, whatever it is?
You see, this very I needs to be evaluated as to who is doing the witnessing. If we are witnessing with the objective of trying to fix something, then again it is not witnessing, it is simply observation, which is different from witnessing. Observation is the limited view. That means mind's view. And witnessing is the total view. So in witnessing, there is no resistance to anything. Now, if observation is happening, that also does help. I will say that that's not a waste of time. But yes, when the observation turns into witnessing, is not in our control. So, if this process is happening and there is turbulence, all one can do is actually in the moment just accept it that that's happening. And with that acceptance, the resistance drops. If the acceptance is there, the resistance drops. But it is really not in our control at times.
Hmm.
But you see, without the witness is the underlying substratum. No experiencing is possible. So you cannot actually lose the witness. Witnessing is your very nature, it is your base nature. But yes, we get caught up in the intensity of the emotion and we think that we have lost it. But we cannot lose it because we always come back. It's just like a wave in the ocean. The wave it may rise high, but ultimately it comes back into the ocean. And yes, while it is high, it may feel turbulent, but eventually when it comes down, one does experience moments of peace. So I would just say, just keep this process, whatever is happening in your case, keep it intact, keep it, let it go and see where it brings you. But yes, at some point there has to be a deeper investigation.
Hmm. I get it. I get it.
Oh,
Just one last question before leave,
yes.
before
Yeah.
letting the next person ask. Uh, do the ones who have perfected the practice, or who have deeply investigated, if I may use your terms, um, is it normal for them to think the thoughts unconsciously, like as we sit and as we daydream without having any control on our mind? Is it normal for them? They might not get affected from it. They might not get
Hmm.
affected from it, but the process keeps continuing, right? That doesn't stop.
No, the thoughts do reduce. The flow of
Okay.
thinking does reduce, and silence is experienced. I can
Okay.
relate to what you're saying because it used to happen with me too. The incessant daydreaming used to happen with me too. But yes, at some point, when when the activity of the mind actually subsides after realizing that it is only trying to control the movement through anything, through analysis, through trying to figure it out, it is just increasing that load of thinking. Then that realization itself brings the thinking down. So I would just let it happen. Whatever would happen, let it happen, and the investigation would keep happening. And by uh, through its own process, the awareness itself does what is required. it itself cuts down the thinking, the thoughts.
So nothing is in control from here now
No,
on.
that's the whole idea. That's the whole idea.
Great, great. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time and thanks a
Okay,
lot for
Utkarsh.
answering my
Okay.
question.
All the best. No problem. All right.